Case fire, Jennifer Kesse, Orlando, Florida, January 24, 2006. The camera captured the suspect. The car was found. The timeline was known. Yet nearly 20 years later, nobody knows what happened to Jennifer Kesse. And the man believed to be connected to her disappearance was caught on surveillance footage in one of the most frustrating ways imaginable. Every single frame hid his face. Jennifer Kesse was 24 years old. She had recently graduated from the University of Central Florida with a degree in finance. Friends described her as intelligent, ambitious, and independent. She had a successful career, a serious relationship, and had recently purchased her first condominium in Orlando. By every measure, Jennifer's future appeared bright. In January 2006, she had just returned from a vacation in the U.S. Virgin Islands with her boyfriend, Rob Allen. The trip had been relaxing. Nothing seemed unusual. No signs of trouble. No indication that anything was about to go wrong. On Monday, January 23rd, Jennifer returned to Orlando and went back to work. That evening, she spoke with family members while driving home. Later, she talked with her boyfriend by phone. The conversation was normal. Neither of them knew it would be the last time they would ever speak. Jennifer lived alone in a condominium complex that was still under construction. Many units were unfinished. Construction workers moved throughout the property daily. According to family members, Jennifer had previously expressed discomfort about some of the workers. She complained that some stared at her. Others made comments as she walked through the complex. The behavior made her uneasy. Still, she continued her normal routine. The next morning, January 24th, 2006, Jennifer never arrived at work. At first, nobody panicked. Maybe she overslept. Maybe she was stuck in traffic. Maybe her phone battery had died. But as the hours passed, concern quickly grew. Jennifer's employer contacted her parents. This was completely out of character. Jennifer was reliable, organized, responsible. She never simply disappeared without telling someone. Her parents immediately drove from Tampa to Orlando. Along the way, they contacted the condominium manager and requested entry into Jennifer's unit. What they found made the situation even stranger. Nothing appeared disturbed. The apartment looked normal. A wet towel suggested she had showered. Clothes had been laid out. Everything indicated Jennifer had prepared for work that morning exactly as she always did. But Jennifer was gone, and so was her car. The missing vehicle was a black 2004 Chevrolet Malibu. If Jennifer had left voluntarily, nobody understood why she wasn't answering her phone. If she had gone somewhere unexpectedly, nobody knew where. By that evening, family and friends began distributing missing person flyers throughout Orlando. Search teams formed quickly. Police launched an investigation, but almost immediately, detectives faced a problem. There were almost no clues, no witnesses, no signs of forced entry, no evidence of a struggle, no confirmed sightings. Jennifer had seemingly vanished without leaving a trace. Then, 2 days later, investigators received a breakthrough. A resident at another apartment complex recognized Jennifer's vehicle after seeing news coverage. The black Chevrolet Malibu had been sitting abandoned in a parking lot approximately 1 mile from Jennifer's condominium. For a moment, investigators felt hopeful. A vehicle often contains evidence: fingerprints, DNA, personal belongings. Perhaps the car would finally explain what happened. But when detectives examined the vehicle, they discovered almost nothing. Valuable items remained inside. There was no obvious sign of robbery, no clear evidence revealing Jennifer's location. It looked as though whoever had parked the vehicle wanted it found, yet they had left behind almost nothing useful. Then investigators discovered something that changed the entire case. The apartment complex where the Malibu was found had surveillance cameras, and one of those cameras had recorded the person who parked Jennifer's car. For the first time, detectives believed they were about to identify a suspect. The footage showed someone driving Jennifer's vehicle into the parking lot around noon on the day she disappeared. The person parked the car, sat inside briefly, then stepped out and walked away. It seemed like the breakthrough investigators desperately needed, until they reviewed the video more closely and realized the footage contained one of the most unbelievable coincidences in modern true crime history. The footage seemed like the break investigators had been waiting for. The person responsible for moving Jennifer Kesse's car had finally been captured on camera. But when detectives examined the video frame by frame, they discovered something almost impossible. Every single image captured the suspect walking behind a fence, and every time a frame was recorded, a fence post blocked the person's face. Not once, not twice, every single frame. The timing was so perfect that investigators never obtained a clear image of the suspect's face. The individual became known as the phantom figure. To this day, it remains one of the most frustrating surveillance videos ever recovered in a criminal investigation. Detectives enhanced the footage. Experts analyzed it repeatedly. The FBI reviewed the video. NASA imaging specialists were even consulted. But despite years of effort, nobody could determine the person's identity. The face simply wasn't visible. The suspect appeared to be approximately 5 feet 3 inches to 5 feet 5 inches tall. Some investigators believed the person could have been a woman. Others argued it was likely a shorter male. The grainy footage provided no definitive answer. The mystery only deepened. The person parked Jennifer's vehicle, walked away calmly, then vanished. Just like Jennifer, investigators searched the vehicle for forensic evidence. A few fingerprints were recovered. Several traces of DNA were found. Unfortunately, none matched anyone in criminal databases. The evidence produced no suspect, no arrest, no answers. As detectives continued digging into Jennifer's life, attention quickly focused on the condominium complex where she lived. Many units were under construction. Dozens of workers regularly moved through the property. Some were undocumented laborers who frequently changed job sites. According to Jennifer's family, she had complained about certain workers making her uncomfortable. Some reportedly stared at her. Others allegedly made comments as she walked by. Nothing was ever reported as a direct threat. But investigators wondered whether someone at the complex had become fixated on her. Police interviewed numerous workers. Some were identified and questioned. Others had already left the area and proved difficult to locate. No evidence directly connected any worker to Jennifer's disappearance. Still, many investigators believe the condominium remains one of the most important locations in the case. The timeline suggested Jennifer likely left her condo around 7:30 a.m. on January 24, 2006. She should have been walking toward her car. Somewhere between her front door and her workplace, something happened. And whatever happened was fast. Investigators believe Jennifer never made it to work. Her phone stopped communicating shortly after she disappeared. No verified activity occurred afterward. No bank transactions. No confirmed sightings. No contact with family. Nothing. As months passed, national media coverage exploded. The disappearance became one of America's most discussed missing person cases. Thousands of tips poured into law enforcement. Many sounded promising. None solved the mystery. One witness claimed to have seen a struggle. Another believed Jennifer had been followed. Several people reported possible sightings in different states. Each lead eventually collapsed. Years turned into a decade. Then another. Jennifer remained missing. No body was found. No suspect was identified. No arrests were made. For Jennifer's parents, Joyce and Drew Kesse, the fight never stopped. Frustrated by what they believed was a lack of progress, they launched their own efforts to uncover information. They hired private investigators. They reviewed thousands of pages of records. They pressured agencies to release evidence. In 2018, after a lengthy legal battle, Jennifer's family won access to the complete investigative file. The records contained thousands of documents. The family hoped hidden clues might still exist inside the case materials. Private investigators continued examining evidence long after official attention had slowed. New forensic technology brought occasional optimism. Advances in DNA analysis created hope that older evidence could someday reveal an identity. But as of today, no publicly announced breakthrough has solved the case. Jennifer Kesse remains missing. The phantom figure remains unidentified. And one question continues haunting investigators. If the suspect was captured on camera, how did they disappear too? Nearly 20 years later, Jennifer's photograph still appears on missing person posters across America. Age-progressed images show what she might look like today. Her family continues searching, still hoping, still waiting. And somewhere inside thousands of pages of reports, hours of surveillance footage, and decades of unanswered questions, the truth remains hidden. Jennifer Kesse walked out of her condominium on a normal Tuesday morning. She never arrived at work. Her car was found. The suspect was recorded. The evidence existed. Yet despite all of it, nobody knows where Jennifer Kesse went. And that is why her disappearance remains one of the most baffling unsolved mysteries in American history. Subscribe to Vanished Records for more real unsolved cases built around the evidence that still can't be explained.